to know about this part, that here the duration for each and every part here is for the reading. For the reading, we have 1 hour. For the writing, we have 1 hour. For the listening, we have 40 minutes. Okay? So total time of the paper, the exam paper, is 2 hours. 1 and 1 is 2, and 40 minutes. 2 hours and 40 minutes, in in which you need to be focused, concentrating as much as possible, not losing a certain moment, because each minute of concentration counts 1 mark. Okay? This test is out of 9. So the good band score usually starts from 6. 6 is an intermediate level student. 6 and above, until 7, from 6 to 7 is usually an intermediate level. Starting from 6 and above, this means that your level is advanced. If you really know the skills and if you master all the skills given to you, then at that time you are a professional, you turn into a professional. So why do people take this test? They take it for 2 main purposes. Number 1 is for immigration, as you guys want to do, okay? Or for educational purpose. So if you wanted to have a postgraduate or an undergraduate degree, then you'll have to take the academic module. You have to know which module are you looking for. So if you want to continue your education or complete your education abroad to have a certain degree, then you'll have to take the IELTS. If you're seeking immigration, then you have to take the general academic module. Clear? Do you guys understand? Okay, so let me move to something else rather than the time given to you here, here, and here. What else? The parts or the sections. Each section consists of what? Let's start with the listening. Listening, 4. Reading, 3. Writing, 2. So 4, 3, 2. 4, 3, 2. Okay, we take the descending order. So 4 sections in the listening. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, and Section 4. 3 sections in the reading. And 2 sections for the writing. Okay, I'm not going to talk about the speaking now. I leave this to some other time. But anyway, the speaking time does not exceed 15 minutes maximum. Okay? So 15 minutes maximum for the speaking and 2 hours and 40 minutes for the rest of the paper. All right? Okay, now if you look at the if you look at the reading section. Reading section, in the reading section, let me first explain something which makes a small variation or a small difference between the general module and the academic module. Both of them are almost the same, except for section 1 in the writing. So here I have section 1 and section 2. Section 1 and section 2. Here we can find the difference. Section 1 in the academic is different than section 1 in the general. Okay? Also, in the reading passages, the quality or the component of the reading passage is different. And why is it different? Because in the academic module, they usually give you some academic passages that are taken from magazines, scientific magazines or newspapers or specialized ones. So you'll have a lot of terms that you may not know, and you will find a lot of expressions that you may not know. Never mind about this. If you're or if you're aiming to taking the general test, then that would be okay, fine with you, no problem at all. Okay? let's move to something else. So here we'll have the reading, 3 sections, and another difference between the general and the academic is that in the academic test or academic AT and the GT, the general test usually give you 5 passages. And here, only 3 passages. So for the reading, if you're taking the academic, 3 long passages. If you're taking the general, you have task 1 or section 1, 2 passages. Task 2, 2 passages. Task 3, 1 long passage. Okay? So section 1, section 2, section 3, each one here 2, 2, and 1 makes total 5 passages for the general test. And for the academic, only 3 long and challenging passages. All right? Let's move to the listening. The listening section in the IELTS test is kind of challenging, and it needs a lot of practice, to be very honest. And not gonna lie, this test needs a lot of practice. So if you're not practicing the English language throughout your day, you will have to find a way out, to find a way to practice your English, to read, listen, write, and speak. And you have to do this daily, on daily basis. And why do I do this? You know, guys, let me tell you something that may sound weird. Some people, when they come to me and they say that, help, we need to improve our score band from 6.5 to 7. Do you know how many hours do I ask them usually? Do I usually ask them to study a day? 3 hours a day for a whole month. Why? To improve their score band only 0.5 mark. You might find this exaggeration, but this is not. This is not an exaggeration. This is the case. If you're serious about getting a very high score band, you need to practice. And now I'm telling you this from the first class we're having together. Because if you think that you have your own excuse not to study or not to practice throughout the day or not to take this course as serious as it should be, please take your money back and stay at home. Don't think about the IELTS now, okay? If you already have the excuse not to study at least 2 hours a day, then please forget about the IELTS now until you find enough time to do it on your own, all right? Or later on when you find enough time, because this course must be taken as serious as it should be taken, all right? It must be taken very seriously. Okay, let me tell you how would I practice for all of this. Number 1, I don't know whether you guys like reading or not, but who likes reading here? Can we share our opinions right now? Who likes reading? Anyone? Microphones? Unmute them. Amor.
I hate reading.
That's interesting. And mashallah, tabarakallah. Okay, Arida, you both like reading.
No, I hate the academic reading. I just want to share with you. I hate the academic reading.
Okay, is this your own point of view? You hate the academic reading. Okay,
Yes.
You know what, Rida, even if you don't like reading or you hate it, then you have to find where exactly or what exactly do you like to read. You have to find your fields of interest. You know, find out yourself in this. This is a very important or crucial stage where you can find out about yourself more. Know more about your interests. Try to find books that have different topics to talk about. Read different articles. And by the way, I'm going to give you an application or many applications that we are going to use now on, okay? these applications would easily enable you to determine what are your points of interest or your fields of interest. And I think that you guys are big enough to know what your interests are. Okay? So you can know whether you're interested in science, agriculture, farming, housing, decoration, fashion, whatever. You guys can determine. Medicine, if you're whatever your major is. Yeah? So you can read in your field as well, Rida. Yeah?
I can read in my field. I can read the newspaper every day, but when it comes to the academic reading, and when it comes to read an article related to science, I find everything different. Okay, I read before some books in English. I read before books in English.
Do you speak French?
No.
You don't know anything about French?
No, I know. I studied before about 10 years in French.
Okay.
But about
Article is a French word.
Oh, I'm really sorry about that. Oh,
so
yes,
it's article.
Article.
Yes.
Yes. Really sorry.
No problem.
So,
I like people who speak French because I speak French very well. I've lived in France for 6 years, so I master the French language. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, that's why I like people who are trilingual. You know. So anyway.
Anyway, I want to say that I can read in English when it comes to general book or any other thing. But when it comes to the academic topics, I find the everything is come different. Okay, and the time is very, very limited. Okay, yes. And as you know that the question come not directly.
Yes.
They made the question to make you very yes, don't know anything.
Yes, yes. Well,
so I hope I can solve this problem.
I don't agree completely with you because later on, after you know my skills or my keys to understand even the difficult and challenging word in an academic test, then you will find it really easy for you to figure out the answers here or there. All right? So let me continue now. Done with the reading? Listening section. The listening section, again, as I told you, you'll have 4 sections. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, Section 4. Section 1 in the listening is usually a conversation between 2 people. The first person is usually asking the second for a certain service, like booking a flight, a hotel reservation, an application form, or filling up an application form for doing a certain activity. Number 2 is usually a talk. Someone who's talking, giving a speech, okay? Number 3 is usually, again, a dialogue between more than 2 people. It could be 3 people. So this is not a dialogue, it's kind of a conversation, all right? And finally, we'll have number 4, which is, again, a talk, and it differs between academic and general, all right? So sometimes if your test is general, you can hear an academic speech as well, all right? You may, okay? So we have 4 speeches here, or 4 sections here. All I want you to know is the recording is played only once. You will not be able to hear the recording more than 1 time. For that reason, we have a lot of tips when it comes to the listening section, and we'll have to focus on so many things in order to maintain your concentration at that time, and in order to know exactly where did the question stop, how can I figure out the clue words in the question, where can I find the answer in the recording. This is so important to know, all right? Let's move to the writing part. If you're taking the general test and the academic test, we have task 1, as I told you before. Task 1 in the general test will be a letter. So again, if you're taking general test, task 1 will be a letter. Task 2 will be an essay. An essay, مقال, okay, in which you will be asked to give your opinion, or to, for example, you can say the difference between this opinion and that opinion, and where do you stand here or there, or an argumentative essay, where there is an argue about a certain topic, okay, and to what extent do you agree with either of these 2 points of view, okay? So again, if you're taking the general test, then number 1 will be a letter, writing a letter, either a formal letter, informal letter, or a semi-formal letter. Number 2, or task number 2, will be the essay writing, and we will learn how to write a good essay, okay? If you're taking the academic test, the only difference will be in task 1 or section 1. Section 1 won't be a letter. It will be a descriptive essay. And here, what I mean by descriptive essay means that they are going to give you a shape, or a figure, or a chart, or a pie chart, or a table, or a bar graph, or whatever shape, okay, which has a lot of information, and you will be asked to write these information in an essay. To, you know, زي ما بنقول بتفرغ البيانات. You take all the data and write them, turn them into an essay instead of this figure. All right? Do you understand me? Do you guys understand me? Any questions? Any questions? No? Great. I hope you understand me. No questions, because you understand everything I say. Okay? So, and let's agree on something. I do my best to speak in English all the time. All right? So that you guys get used to listening to the English language, interacting in the English language as well. All right? I only use few Arabic words in case I feel from your eyes that you didn't get me. So at that time, I use the Arabic language, okay? So in case you think that you don't understand what I'm saying, please do not hesitate to stop me, ask me what did I say, and let me give you another tip which will relax you. All the series or all the classes that we're taking now will be recorded, okay? And I will send you guys the recording after each class. Again, another tip. Each session, we will have 3 sessions a day. This would be session 1, then we'll have session 2 and session 3, because we're supposed to take 120 minutes. After 40 minutes, we'll have 5 minutes break, 5 minutes break, okay? This session will end after 4 minutes from now. Then we'll have 5 minutes break, then move to session 2 and session 3, all right? Okay, whose microphone is on? Please make sure you mute it.
Hend, please.
Haizem, yes?
Yes. Can you mention again the content of the listening part, because I missed this part?
Yes. Where were you, Haizem?
I was here,
Okay.
but the connection was not good.
All right, great. Again, the listening section?
Yes, the content of the listening section.
Sure. Okay, the listening section, again, you will have 40 minutes. 30 minutes to listen, 30 minutes to listen to these 4 sections. And then you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answer from the question paper into the answer sheet. Okay?
Okay.
In these 10 minutes, I recommend that you don't take these 10 minutes. You just write down the answers from the recording into your answer sheet directly, so that you can find time later on to check out your answers. Okay, here the different sections. Number 1 section would be a dialogue between 2 people. It's usually a dialogue between 2 people, and it's mainly about booking or taking a hotel reservation, flight reservation, accommodation, or filling up an application for something, job application or whatever, okay? And number 2 would be a talk. Someone or a lecturer would be giving a talk or a speech, okay? And you have to concentrate on this speech because you'll have some lessons, some questions based on what he or she has said, okay? Then we'll move to number 3, which is usually a conversation between more than 2 people. They will be discussing things or discussing stuff that you have to be focusing and concentrating on what does each and every one is saying. And in the same time, you have to be focused because we have to spot or know the clue words in the questions. And when we refer back to the answers, we have to determine who said what. Okay?
Okay.
And finally, number 4 is usually another academic conversation, kind of academic conversation, which is between people. All right?
Okay. Thank you a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome, dear. You're welcome. Now, the session is over and it will automatically close, right? I'll meet you after 5 minutes from now. It's 43. I'll meet you at 48. All right? Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed my first class. See you after 5 minutes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.